Hey, welcome back to Inside the 90. We got a cool topic that I'm going to just interview Andrew on today. And, you know, we talk about the good and bad and the ugly of things, but that's what we were going to call this. But I think it's actually better if we call it, you know, the ugly, bad, and better of meetings. Because most are ugly, most are bad, but we want to be better. And so we just had a meeting about talking about meetings.
I love it.
but let's just kick it off. Like, why is meeting so important to you?
Yeah. So first of all, I tell people that I teach people how to have meetings. Like that's my profession, is teaching people how to have meetings. But it goes back to Lencioni has a book called Death by Meeting. And it's in the book, he talks about how meetings are an essential part of running an organization, a function, a team, whatever that is. And instead of, a lot of teams say, how do we have less meetings? Right? Like, how do we just do that less? And instead of saying, how do we just get better at the meetings we have?
Yes.
And how do we become more productive and more effective with our meeting time? And so that's why I love just the topic about meetings in general, because it is this culmination of alignment, accountability, delegation. It's really the catalyst to getting a lot of things done.
And I'm sure that, you know, if you could go and query, you know, all L10 meetings and all issues, it could be that too many meetings is one of the most common issues shared among everybody, right?
Yeah.
Either our meetings suck or too many meetings. And you have meetings within the EOS structure, but then you have other meetings just to get the work done.
Absolutely.
Right? So where do you, if someone says like, it's death by meetings, like where do you start?
I want to break it down.
Yeah.
Like, let's break down what meetings you're actually having and what are the topics and what are the agendas. And I would just start at the basis. So to back it up, there's reasons why meetings suck typically is because there's no set agendas. There's no purpose walking into it. There's no thought walking into it. They're sporadic all the time. We don't tie bows on things. We just get in a conversation or in a conference room, we just talk, and right, there's no real like clear alignment when we leave. And so you just set. So there's really, I think of this as two different sides of the same coin. One side is our repetitive meetings.
Yes.
Okay. And those repetitive meetings, in EOS, we follow the meeting pulse, which become our repetitive meetings.
Yes. Which does give you a rhythm.
A rhythm and an agenda.
Yes.
Right? And so the repetitive ones are the annual planning, quarterly pulsing, weekly level 10s. So if you just kind of break that down, right? Annual planning, that is going to be set up well in advance. It's going to start on time. It's going to end on time, right? It has an agenda that we're going to run through. Set us up for the entire year. Then we break that into quarterly pulsing, where we take a look at how to do last quarter, set up priorities for the next quarter in order to achieve our annual plan.
Yep.
And then we have our weekly L10s, where we're executing on that plan or that direction we decided in our quarterly plan, quarterly pulsing.
Yeah.
Now, at scale, every department would have that exact same pulse. So I think of that as the strategic direction setting for the team. That is the pulse.
Yeah.
That's great. A lot of departments, they don't have a strategic pulse currently. So what ends up happening is as we implement EOS, we actually have to do more meetings because we're implementing a strategic higher level working on the department.
Yes.
Pulse, which is the L10. But we still have to do the work.
Yeah. So projects that you're working on, collaboration that's got to happen, information that needs to be shared.
Yes. And so that's where I think every department, not leadership, but department, has a set cadence for their L10 working on and a set cadence for their working in.
Yeah.
And if that's a agency, it's a traffic meeting.
Yeah.
If it's a builder, it's like a project management meeting.
Yeah.
Right? You have to have that in and the on.
Yeah.
To kind of start.
Yeah, and I think there's we've got another podcast on how to do an effective L10. It's one of our most popular podcasts. So that really breaks down just the L10 itself, the weekly L10. But then when you think about what makes those meetings successful, those principles can apply to any meeting.
Absolutely.
Right. And so, but I do think the rhythm part is important. So I think there's the pure part of EOS, which is that. And then there may be at times where it's like, hey, we've got to have some other, we're not death by meetings, but there's some other things, either culturally or rhythm or project, team based, that got to get to that cadence as well. And personally for me, the more you can get the fewer meetings scheduled on a regular cadence as possible, it actually gives you the most non-meeting time. If that makes sense.
It does. It does. And I think a lot of times we have to add meetings to then get to less meetings.
Yes.
And that's a hard pill to swallow sometimes.
Yes.
But again, it's trust the process of you have to maybe add a few to then say, okay, this one works. This is where we need to change this. We can absorb this one into that. But like you almost have to start and just know it's okay. Because eventually we're going to start to get really cleaned up.
Yeah.
And I think that's the ugly into the bad.
Yeah.
The ugly is like, look, we don't have any meeting cadence. We're just chasing fires all day long, and our meetings are all reactionary, and we're just going.
Yeah, and I come in every day, and I've got blocks of time, and then all of a sudden an hour goes by, and every block's been taken because someone snagged it for me.
Absolutely. And then you get into the bad, which is, okay, we're actually trying to put our arms around this, but we actually just add a bunch of extra meetings. But you almost have to go through the bad to get to the better.
Yeah. Now you talked about when y'all were at Bear-X, y'all found some ways to address this. They're not EOS pure, but they're ways that y'all found to manage the other meetings.
Yes.
What were some of those?
Well, and just to set some tone of the service-based industry, so you are constantly servicing your clients. So calls are coming up all the time. Project scope information, opportunities to close deals. So it's a very reactionary business in a lot of ways. Any type of service business has that dynamic to it. So what we found is as we were running our L10s, that was going really well. As we were doing quarterly pulsing, it was going really well. However, every individual felt as if they didn't have blocked time or secure time to work on our rocks. So our L10s became, I need 20 minutes to have you help me do part of my rock in the L10 to try to get these things done. And so we went on a pursuit of, okay, how do we protect time to get rocks done as well? And so that's where we found that there's a working on the department and a working in department set cadence meeting. And that can look different. Ours was a weekly L10 and twice a week, like a traffic meeting.
Yeah.
Right. That could be a daily stand-up if it's a sales department. It could be weekly, whatever that is for in the business. And then you're going to have these ad hoc meetings. And so typically what ends up happening is you default to whatever scheduler you use, which is usually 30 minutes or 60. That's what's kind of defaulted. So we put in a rule that it's only 15 or 45-minute meetings. So instead of what you'd typically do in 30 minutes, you can do in 15 if you only have 15 minutes to do it.
Yeah.
So we did 15 and 45-minute meetings, and then you did 90. So if it was a deeper one that maybe you'd block 2 hours, now you're doing for 90 minutes. Yeah. So that was like a little trick that helped. Another little trick that helped is that we did no meetings on Friday. Mm-hmm. So there was obviously some big things that may come up that have to get done, but you can't go to my calendar and put a meeting on my Friday.
Yeah.
Right? And so that blocked some time to really dig into some more of the important things, get those rocks done, set that up.
So you talked about a services business, and I'm sure this applies to other industries as well. But one of the challenges is you're trying to get your internal meetings under control, but then you still have to meet with clients, right? So how do those external meetings impact your internal schedule?
Same rules. 15 minutes, 45-minute meetings, no meetings on Friday.
Yeah.
Can't be during our repetitive meetings.
Correct. Yep.
And so what I honestly believe happens is we as a team say, oh, that's going to be too hard. So we don't even try it.
Yep.
Or we say, that's going to be too hard. I can't look at the next 2 weeks. I can't do that. Okay. Well, when can you start?
Yeah.
There's a time right now that you're not like,
yes.
You look 6 weeks out, you could start it if you wanted to, right? So it's just like we had to push through that, but same rules, 15, 45, no meetings on Friday, not during repetitive meetings. And so your times of opportunity for that start to shrink. And what ends up happening is that you're way more effective in those meetings where you may have been okay, say it's a sales process, having 2 meetings with a prospect. I need to get us to where we need to go in 1.
Yeah.
And the clients love it.
Yeah.
Loved the fact that we were low. So another added thing I forgot about that makes that more impactful, internal and external. In the meeting description, you put in the outcome that you desire for the meeting. So internal and external. So no, like we didn't do agenda or anything like that. Even if it's like a 15-minute sync, in the description would be outcome, decision on XYZ.
Yep.
Right? Or need to define next step, who and when is it due for this thing. So when you jump on the call in 15 minutes, there's not this 10-minute, what are we talking about? What do we need to get to? We jump on and say, okay, this is what we need to get to. Where you at now? What's going on? And we can just get through it a little bit faster.
Yeah. And then, the other thing is how many meetings can we have in a week, right? Well, or the thing is, do we have to have all these meetings this week? So one of the things that we do, and especially as an agency with clients, like we have very few clients that have weekly meetings. Like most of our cadence is bi-weekly meetings. Yeah. And then move to a monthly meeting because really not everything has to happen every week, even if it's important content. So but the rhythm I found, my joke is I say I'm calendrically challenged. I work in what is right here, right now in front of me that is the most important. And I look at my calendar in the morning, but I don't live by a calendar. I live by, I would
priorities.
And bouncing around and talking to people and keeping things moving, right? But yeah, so the priorities to me are more driven than the calendar itself. But my coping mechanism is when I do have to have meetings, they've got to have a rhythm. So like for me, like one-on-ones, like we do that, but I just do them, let's say Thursday at 11 o'clock. And if I've got a team of 6 people, that means it takes me 6 weeks to get through my Thursday at 11 o'clocks, And then for us, 2 things that we need to do is like we've got clients and we need to sync on all clients strategically. Well, you could say that we need to have 12 clients a month to sync on clients strategically, right? That's not feasible. Mm-mm. So we have a Wednesday at 11 client strategy bi-weekly where everyone strategically who's involved with all clients is there. And we don't walk through projects. Like what's going on with them? Where are they? Did they just come out of their quarterly? What goals have changed? What pressures do we think the client's under? Like we talk through that stuff. And then the next week we actually have our new business project planning. So the same slot, same team, but then that week it's like, all right, what new projects have come in? What information needs to be cascaded to the team to keep everything moving? So we create a rhythm of meetings to where, but it's not every week we have to do all of them.
No. And I love the coping mechanism word that you said there because I can relate to that where sometimes the answer is, hey, let's just put it on the rhythm of a meeting because then at least there's accountability for me.
Correct. Yes, exactly. Yes, because it is all about me.
Because it's about me. So if we have this, then that'll keep me accountable and making sure I don't drop the balls.
Yeah. Like our accountant and my friend Jason Blummer, he's high. I mean, I don't know his cold, but highly entrepreneurial, runs 2 businesses, works 6 days a week and his calendar is planned a year in advance. Like for us to get lunch with our accountant, we've got to schedule it like months in advance, and we got to show up. But he's actually, that's his integrator. It took years, but got him on that, and he has time blocked for the whole year on everything he has to do. And like that, talk about anxiety. Oh my God, that to me, like now he said he was there and he trusted the process, and it got him there. But like that, right now we're still in, firing on different angles all the time. But that is too much accountability for me. I need some wiggle room.
100%. And I think part of that, those repetitive the repetitive meetings they have to start on time, they have to end on time, they have to have the same agenda, right?
Yeah.
And the meeting cannot be reliant on one person to run it.
Yeah.
So, and I would use if it's repetitive, I would use an L10 principle format.
Yes.
Even with clients, even external, there's a check-in, there's a reporting stage of making sure the things that we're working on between that group are on track. And then there's an checking in on what got done from an accountability of to-dos. Then there's an IDS of what's going on. And then you conclude.
Yeah.
And you take new to-dos. And so you can use the principles in any repetitive meeting, even when it's with a client.
Yeah, because every meeting should be an L10 meeting, right? The L10 is just the idea that it's a level 10. Like it was the best that we could do. And it met the goals. We knew what we were coming. We started on time.
And I always say it's if it's repetitive.
Yes.
Because those ad hoc meetings, all we need to know is what is the objective here, which truly is that ad hoc meeting is just an IDS session for one topic.
Correct. Yes.
So treat it that way.
Yeah.
What's the objective? What's the solution to solve we're trying to get to in this one thing?
Yeah.
There's a whole nother thing of, does it need to be an ad hoc or should it be an L10? All of that too.
Yes.
But that's kind of my thoughts on some of that.
Well, and another thing, we actually just coming out of our last quarterly, this was one of the things that we said now is, and some things are unspoken, and so everybody doesn't know it, right? But it's like, I'm like, well, if you just decline a meeting, you're not going, that's fine. Like, you don't have to explain when you're not going to be there. But other people are like, well, I needed you in the meeting. And so I think without an agenda, you really don't know what it's about.
Exactly right.
But I'm always like, if meetings need to happen, whether everyone can get there or not, so just get it booked, put the agenda in there. And if someone can't make it, you have to decide, do they have to be there? But you don't cancel the meeting and reschedule it because you invited 5 people and one couldn't be there, right? So keep it going. So
there's one other rule that I forgot to mention is the 15-minute buffer. Internal, external, you always have to keep a 15-minute buffer for yourself, for anybody else when you're booking that meeting, making sure that there's a 15-minute buffer.
Yeah.
And personally, what you do is you close out the meeting before you leave the room. Okay. So I learned this back when iDashboards days. Now this was before COVID and so all the meetings were in a conference room.
Yeah.
Right. And what I would do is I created a 15-minute buffer rule that no one could put a meeting on my thing without 15-minute buffer. And when we were concluded in the meeting, I would sit in the conference room. I would not leave the conference room until my to-dos were at least taken care of. Sometimes you just knock it out.
Yeah.
Or it was at least scheduled on my calendar of when that was going to be completed.
Yeah.
Or delegated.
Yeah.
Like I sent the delegation email for somebody to get it done. And I wouldn't leave the room because even if you walk back to your office, good luck closing that out.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. And then there's the idea of the open file, right? Now you're walking around all day with that file open with those things in your brain that you didn't park anywhere yet.
So close out the meeting.
Yeah.
So that's what the 15-minute buffer is for. It's not so you can go longer.
Yes.
It's not so you, right? That's not what it's for. It's to actually close the meeting, whatever that is out.
Yeah.
And so just like anything, these little rules are really powerful culturally. Like if you put these rules in, you put it on a paper, you communicate externally and internally, this is how we're going to do meetings from now on as an organization. And you put a stake on the ground and I put it out a few weeks or a couple months so people can get into it because they'll try to start it. We'll start using it softly, but on this day, it's a hard rule. It creates an intentional culture.
Yeah.
So we all elevate when we do these little types of rules.
So, me, visionary, hearing this, there's
Yes.
probably other visionaries listening to this. Can I just leave this and then Monday mandate a policy to everybody? Or is there a process I need to have to roll this out? Because I got a lot of good things coming from this that I've learned.
Yeah. I think something like this is a great quarterly pulsing IDS.
Okay.
So I think it's a great, throw it on the long-term issues list.
Yes.
Talk about it at your leadership team. Decide if it's a rock. Are we going to implement this? Take a step approach, take a quarter to say at the end of the quarter, we are living this rule.
Yes.
And build it out that way.
So don't roll it out Monday.
I would, and I mean, there's a part of me that says, heck yeah, just go.
Yeah.
But it really depends on the organization too.
Yeah. And
Like,
size and scale.
Yeah, and size and scale. You can't go, you did that to your team on Monday. They're gonna be like, wait,
Yeah,
hold on.
Exactly.
Like even at your size, I wouldn't just go out on Monday.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's awesome.
Awesome.
It's
Well, hopefully this helps some of you move from what do we say, ugly, bad to better.
to better, at least better.
So yeah, let's be better, and we don't have to start at best, right? We can constantly be working towards better.
Absolutely. All right, Jami, appreciate it.
All right, man. Fun.
All right, till
See
next
ya.
time.